Everyone, this is Ilina and I'm back today with another card for you using Foxy Friends bundle. Actually just the stamp set from Stampin' Up. And this stamp set is new in this year's catalog and it's so stinking cute. So I'm using the Mini Misty to stamp the images. And since I'm using the Mini Misty, I decided to stamp a bunch of them so I have a future use when I'm in a crunch and I don't have time to make card. So I'm using Calypso Coral to stamp the fox, and I'm stamping it twice. That's another advantage of the Misty, because you can get exactly same positioning and stamp over and over at the exact same spot to get the brightness of the ink you like or the darkness. So I'm stamping a bunch of those, as I said, and when you do this, you need to make sure that your piece of paper that you're stamping on is wedged in the corner. So it's like perfectly there in the corner, and secure it down with the magnet, one or two. It depends how many. Like sometimes I do like even 3 magnets to make sure that my cardstock doesn't move. So I'm just stamping here just for a reference. And then another to make sure that I have layered, not layered, but positioned the eyes and the nose perfectly. So I picked out one of the 3 sets of eyes and nose, and I'm using the grid paper to position those perfectly to center them perfectly. And then I'm using the early espresso ink pad to stamp again twice because I wanted darker color. I didn't really want black, but I wanted darker brown. So you notice that when I was stamping with the full ink pad, I got a lot of ink left onto the lid of the Misty. So I picked up one of the cubes, the early espresso cubes that I got with one of my paper pumpkins. So that works much better with the Misty. So now I'm done with the foxes, stamping all the foxes, and next I'm moving on to the tree trunk. And I'm using again early espresso. And I'm again using the ink cube because it's a little bit easier, so I don't need to clean the lid every single time that I ink the image. So I'm stamping a bunch of those too. And now I'm done with stamping all the, I have like 5 foxes and 3 trunks, and I'm just cutting them out. And then I'll just cut out 1 fox and 1 tree trunk for my card, and I'll just save the rest for future use. And usually I have 1 box on my desk with a bunch of images that I stamp in multiples. When I'm making 1 card, I just stamp a bunch of images. Sometimes because I end up messing up my card and I need a new image, and sometimes just to have on hand when I need a quick card or I'm in a rush and I don't have time to stamp. It will be easier to just put together the card, have already pre-stamped images, maybe add a sentiment or so. So and next it's the tree trunk. So now that I'm pretty much done with this, the next step will be to kind of pull together the card. And besides the Foxy Friends, I'm using Sunshine Sentiments for the sentiment saying happy birthday. So for now we're gonna pull together this card, and I have the card base is from Pool Party, and I'm using the new circle framelits. I'm using not the largest, but a little bit smaller than the largest circle to cut that circle in the on the card base. And then I'm positioning the wreath or like branch. So I'm using the grid transparency to position it perfectly. And I'm stamping using Pool Party. And I'm doing twice because to get more saturated look and more kind of even look of that wreath. So next I'm doing the bottom. So I'm pretty much repeating the same procedure, and I'll just stamp on the bottom. And I'm stamping again. So next I'm positioning that fox and see how it looks. And I feel like it's kind of empty on the side, so I again using this grid paper, and I'm positioning this 2 leaves little image. So I'm gonna add those to the sides, and again I'm stamping twice, and then I'm positioning it on the other side. I'm lining my grid paper with this, with the right side, so those are perfectly kind of in line with one another. So now that I have everything stamped, I'll move on to putting together my card. Well, not really everything stamped. We still have the sentiment. So I'm using this banner pattern paper from the Foxy Friends DSP stack, and I'll just adhere it on the back. So it's done. And now I picked up some ink from my mat. So with the magic of YouTube, I have another card front without the ink smudge. So I'm adhering my fox and the tree trunk using dimensionals. And then the next step will be just to add the sentiment and finish off the card. So the sentiment, because I'm using the Sunshine Greetings, that's a cling mouth sentiment. I'm using a sheet similar, it's like quilting sheet, like but it's similar to the Stampin' Magic imaging sheet, not imagining. And I'm stamping that and positioning my piece of the white strip under it so I can stamp directly. And here I didn't really remove that foam pad, the mouse pad. So it came out okay, and next time doing it the right way, I remove that mouse pad. I'm stamping that sentiment again. Next, I'll just trim it off and cut the end, like kind of make a little banner with that sentiment. And then under on the back, I'll put a little strip of designer series paper, the same Foxy Friends, and I'll pick out one of the darker Calypso color coral patterns, and I'm gonna adhere that and add it to my card. So that's my card. I hope that you like it. You can add more embellishment if you want, or just leave it as it is. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye!